A person's life is shaped entirely by how they see themselves, not by their circumstances, not by where they were born or what they were handed, but by the story they carry inside about who they are and what they have to give. In a busy harbour town, there sat a woman named Clara. Clara was 41. She had a worn blanket near the harbour ferry terminal, and every morning she was there, hands outstretched, asking for whatever people could spare. Life had narrowed to this. She had stopped imagining it could be anything else. One morning, a well-dressed woman stepped off the ferry, tailored coat, leather briefcase, the calm confidence of someone who knew exactly where she was going. Clara approached her, hand extended. The woman stopped and looked at her, not unkindly, but directly. "Before I give you anything, what do you offer in return?" Clara blinked. "I have nothing to give. I survive by asking." The woman was quiet for a moment. "If you truly believe you have nothing to give, then you have decided your value is nothing. Every transaction I have ever made was built on one person offering something and another receiving it. If you have nothing to offer, you have made the saddest decision a person can make. Not because it is cruel, but because it is almost certainly untrue." She looked at Clara steadily. "Think about that." Then she walked away, purposefully, into the crowd. Clara stood completely still. Nobody had ever asked her what she could give. Nobody had ever suggested the question was worth asking. That night, she could not sleep. What could she possibly give? No money? No skills? Nothing. And yet, the words kept returning, almost certainly untrue. 2 days passed. Clara sat near the entrance, not asking, thinking. On the third morning, she noticed something she had walked past 100 times without seeing. Along the harbour wall where stone met water, wild herbs grew in thick clusters, rosemary, thyme, mint, spilling from cracks in the old stone. The smell was strong and clean in the cool sea air. A thought arrived, simple and quiet. What if I gave people something every time they gave me something? She gathered careful handfuls, tied them with strips of cloth, returned to her spot. When the first traveller dropped a coin, Clara held out a small bundle of rosemary. The traveller stopped, took it, smelled it, and smiled. "Thank you," the traveller said, to her. Clara felt something shift in her chest. Within 2 weeks, the pattern was clear. When she had herbs, people gave generously. When she ran short, the giving slowed. "They are not giving me charity. They are buying what I have." One afternoon, the woman in the tailored coat stepped off the ferry again. Clara stood and walked toward her, holding out rosemary tied with a neat strip of blue cloth. "I have something to give you now." The woman stopped. A real smile crossed her face. She placed a generous note in Clara's hand and took the bundle. "You found it," she said quietly. "Found what?" Clara asked. "What you had to offer. It was always there. You just had to look." She turned to go, then glanced back once. "You are not a beggar anymore, Clara. You are a trader. Learn the difference. Don't forget it." Clara stood at the edge of the harbour, holding a note in one hand and looking at the stone wall of rosemary in the other. "I am not a beggar. I am a trader." She said it quietly, just to hear how it sounded. It sounded true. She never sat with empty hands again. Month by month she built herbs, flower bundles, a weekly restaurant order, a Saturday market pitch, a neighbour hired to help. Within 2 years she had a small cart, a handmade sign, and the confidence of someone who belonged exactly where they stood. One Saturday morning, the woman in the tailored coat stopped at the cart. "I almost didn't recognize you," she said. Clara smiled. "I almost didn't recognize myself." The woman bought the largest arrangement. As she paid, "I say the same thing to many people at that harbour. You are the only one who ever came back to show me." They shook hands, 2 women, standing as equals, with the smell of rosemary and sea air between them. Clara's story is not about herbs or harbour markets. It is about the story you carry inside about who you are. We receive in proportion to what we offer. Not always immediately, not always from the same person. But the world responds to value. It always has. The question that changes everything is not, what do I need? It is, what do I have to give? You have a skill someone hasn't learned, a perspective someone needs to hear. Time, attention, care, something. Always something. Start small. Start with what grows wild along the walls of whatever life you are already living. Because the moment you shift from asking to offering, something in the world shifts too. That is where everything begins.